On March 2nd, 2025, a small machine from a company you have probably never heard of did something extraordinary.
Khan, Chief Engineer on Ops. Y'all select the landing. We're on the moon.
With those simple words, history was made. Believe me or not, but this is a real and first of its kind high definition footage of a lunar lander landing on the moon. Firefly Aerospace's Blue Ghost lander had just become the first private spacecraft to successfully touch down on the lunar surface. Not SpaceX, not Blue Origin, but Firefly, the underdog that beat every tech giant to the claim to the moon. In this video, we'll discuss about a private company named Firefly and their mission to the moon, and how they became the first private company to soft land on the lunar surface. We'll also discuss in detail about the sector and if we'll soon see more companies going to the moon. Hey everyone, welcome to PhysxX Space. Imagine this, a small agile spacecraft built by a daring private company journeys millions of miles and lands softly on the moon, all while carrying cutting-edge science experiments. Today, we are diving into the incredible story of Firefly Aerospace's Blue Ghost Mission 1, the mission that made history by becoming the first fully successful private moon landing. Stay tuned because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this mission is not just a win for space exploration but a game changer for our future in space. It all began on January 15, 2025, when Firefly Aerospace teamed up with SpaceX to launch their Blue Ghost lander aboard a Falcon 9 Block 5 rocket from the iconic Kennedy Space Center. Picture this, a sleek rocket roars into the sky carrying not just any payload, but a spacecraft designed to write history. Though it was traveling in a SpaceX rocket, SpaceX itself has not landed on moon yet. Blue Ghost, affectionately nicknamed Ghost Rider in the Sky, embarked on an epic 45-day journey covering nearly 2.8 million miles, and let me tell you, the path was not a straight shot. The mission required precise maneuvers, mid-course corrections, and a series of engine burns that set it on a perfect trajectory to the moon. It was a roller coaster ride in space. Every second was critical. This mission was done to fulfill a $101 million contract with NASA. Fast forward to the early hours of March 2nd, 2025. After weeks of careful planning and nerve-wracking mid-course corrections, Blue Ghost began its final approach. Now imagine your heart pounding as you watch a spacecraft descend towards the lunar surface. That's exactly what happened when at precisely 2:34 am CST, Blue Ghost executed its powered descent over Mare Crisium, an ancient basalt-flooded basin on Moon's near side. And then, the moment of truth. Mission Control in Austin erupted with cheers when they confirmed, "We are on the moon."
Khan, Chief Engineer on Ops. Y'all select the landing. We're on the moon.
It was not just a landing, it was a soft, controlled touchdown on a lunar surface. Blue Ghost had managed to slow its orbital velocity from 1700 miles per second down to just 1 meter per second before coming to rest. Incredible, right? Blue Ghost's landing site at Mare Crisium carries its own historical weight. It became the only second spacecraft to successfully land in this region since the Soviet Lunar 24 robot sample return mission in 1976, nearly 5 decades ago. The mission targeted an area near Mons Lateral, a volcanic feature within Mare Crisium, which is a circular basin created by an asteroid impact and later surfaced with basaltic lava approximately 3 billion years ago. Following this astronomical event, Blue Ghost will capture the lunar sunset on March 16, providing data on how lunar dust levitates due to solar influences and create a lunar horizon glow, first documented by Eugene Cernan on Apollo 17. These sequential observations of sunrise, eclipse, and sunset will provide a unique dataset for understanding lunar environmental dynamics. So, who's exactly Firefly Aerospace? Founded in 2014, the company has weathered bankruptcy, ownership charges, and countless technical challenges. When other space startups were grabbing headlines with celebrity CEOs and flashy promotional stunts, Firefly was quietly perfecting its technology. Firefly's primary business is building small to medium lift rockets. Their Alpha vehicle can carry about 1 ton to orbit, smaller than SpaceX's workhorse Falcon 9, but where SpaceX zigs, Firefly zags. While SpaceX can lift more cargo more cheaply, Firefly demonstrated something remarkable in 2023. They integrated and launched a satellite in just 27 hours. For comparison, traditional launches take months of preparations. This responsive launch capability caught the Pentagon's attention immediately. With approximately $573 million in funding, pocket change compared to SpaceX's billions, Firefly has focused on government contracts and specialized missions. Their annual revenue of around $70 million might sound impressive until you realize SpaceX pulls in billions. Yet somehow this underdog managed to reach to the moon first. So they are trying to cater to a specific niche of clients. While you need to wait for at least 12 months to launch your spacecraft with SpaceX, Firefly can launch it in hours. Though the payload might be less, but for smaller and low-budget countries and companies can use their services to save millions of dollars. Just think, a satellite can earn a company $1 million in revenue a month. If a company waits for 12 months to launch with SpaceX, then they will lose all $12 million in revenue. This is where Firefly comes into play. March 2nd, 2025. After 6 weeks of travel, Blue Ghost began its descent to the lunar surface. Unlike Earth landings where atmosphere allows parachutes, lunar landings rely entirely on rocket engines to slow down from 3,800 miles per hour to 0, while targeting a landing zone the size of a tennis court. The tension in mission control was palpable. Earlier attempts by other companies had failed spectacularly. Japan's iSpace crashed in April 2023. Intuitive machines landed sideways just months before Firefly's attempt. The lunar surface is littered with the wreckage of failed missions.
Khan, Chief Engineer on Ops. Y'all select the landing. We're on the moon.
At 8:34 UTC, Blue Ghost's forelegs touched the lunar soil, standing upright and fully functional. 30 minutes later, the first images arrived. Slightly overexposed due to harsh lunar sunlight, but unmistakably showing success where others failed.
Y'all select the landing. We're on the moon.
Blue Ghost was not just a publicity stunt. The lander carried 10 scientific instruments for NASA's Commercial Lunar Payload Service program. Experiments that would investigate radiation effects, dust behavior, and test technologies for future lunar settlements. One of the most fascinating instruments, Honeybee Robotics' PlanetVac, fired pressurized gas to collect lunar soil samples. This technology could eventually be scaled up to harvest water ice from permanently shadowed lunar craters, literally mining the moon for rocket fuel. For 14 Earth days, one lunar daylight cycle, Blue Ghost would operate on the surface, transmitting invaluable data before the bitter lunar night would likely freeze its components beyond recovery. Unlike government missions that cost billions, this entire mission had a price tag of $101.5 million, less than a typical Hollywood blockbuster. The successful landing immediately sent shockwaves through the space industry. Firefly had accomplished something neither SpaceX, Blue Origin, nor any other private company had managed: a controlled lunar landing. This achievement transformed Firefly from an industry footnote to front page news overnight.
Firefly Aerospace.
Firefly Aerospace.
To Firefly Aerospace.
From Firefly Aerospace.
The economics is staggering. Firefly reportedly valued around $1.5 billion, had just demonstrated capabilities that could unlock a lunar economy potentially worth trillions. From mining helium-3 for fusion reactors to harvesting water ice for rocket fuel, the moon isn't just a scientific destination. It's the gas station and supply depot for humanity's deeper push into space. NASA's CLPS program represents contracts worth up to $2.6 billion through 2028. By piggybacking scientific instruments on commercial landers, NASA gets moon access at a fractional cost of the cost of government-run missions. And companies like Firefly get to perfect technologies they can sell to other customers, from scientific institutions to lunar mining operations. When Neil Armstrong took that famous step in 1969, it was culmination of a massive government program that cost over $150 billion in today's dollars. 50-60 years later, a company with fewer than 400 employees achieved something similar for less than 1/10 of 1% of that cost. Only 5 nations have ever achieved soft lunar landings before Firefly: Russia, the United States, China, India, and Japan. Now, a private company joins this exclusive club, signaling that space is no longer the exclusive domain of superpowers. This is the best part, and this is why I support private space exploration missions. Blue Ghost's landing isn't just a technical achievement, it's a paradigm shift. When access to space becomes affordable enough for mid-sized companies, innovation explodes. The next gold rush won't be in California or Alaska. It will be on the dusty plains of our nearest celestial neighbor. As Blue Ghost sits silently on the lunar surface, its mission complete. It represents something profound: the democratization of space. 50 years ago, reaching the moon required the resources of the world's wealthiest nations. Today, it takes vision, engineering excellence, and a willingness to be the underdog. Firefly has proven that in the new space race, it's not always the biggest rocket or the loudest CEOs that win. Sometimes it's the quiet innovators who make the giant leap for mankind. What do you think the lunar economy will be in 10 years? Share your predictions in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more coverage of humanity's next giant leap.